Gesundheit!
It's that time again. 31 days, 31 news. It's Halloween Horrorfest Spooktacular.
Oh, hi Mom, it's me, your son. Turns out that ominously marked door put me in some kind of bonkers pocket dimension. It's okay though, it's kind of a vibe. Plus, I mean, one of these doors has gotta get me to a phone, right? Let me just sneak on, look, sneak, oh, okay, yeah, huh. Oh, okay. You know what? Kind of like it. Feels a little homey. What do you think, Mr. Bones? Traversing this here cyclopean architecture has got me thinking. There are a lot of spooky liminal spaces in horror movies. From haunted houses to multiverses, maddening time cycles to impossible doorways. The genre is packed to the brim with the best examples of sanity-tempting chaos zones that fiction has to offer. So for that reason, what better way to spend Hump Day than exploring some films that best encapsulate the capsule dimension in what I like to call Weird Wednesday. From Anthony to... green was a bad idea. I should have thought about that one. From Anthony DeBlasi, the man responsible for such well-loved classics as Wuthering High School, comes the 2014 supernatural psychological horror film Last Shift. When Jessica Lauren begins her first shift at the old Sanford police station, her world is turned upside down as she makes a startling, harrowing, bone-chilling discovery. She's a cop! Also, ghosts! The station's haunted, I think. Ghosts! Sorry about the whole being a cop thing. That sucks. Exactly 1 year ago, the notorious Payman family cult gave themselves an eternal necktie in a holding cell after killing Jessica's peepaw. Turns out they sure do love to hang around after death, and boy are they happy to just goof around with Euclidean space. With reality bending in on itself and literal ghosts stopping by to just be a real bummer, what was meant to be Jessica's first shift in a promising career may just end up being her last shift. Okay. Clever. Yeah, that's real clever. Last shift. Man, I really want to like this movie more than I do. There are a lot of really fun ideas in this movie that just ultimately don't get the payoff that they deserve. I mean, this movie checks a lot of boxes for me. Liminal spaces? Check. Visual storytelling? Check. Wet prosthetics? Check. Idolizing the police? You want to watch a guy pee on the floor? When Last Shift gets it right, it gets it really right, only to then veer into some tremendously dumb territory. Look, take this scene for example. We see Jessica enter a locker room, a rookie cop, her first day on the job. We sense a kind of reverence in her movement. She touches the closed lockers gently, as if committing them to memory, experiencing the legacy, knowing that she may be the last person to do so before this building is torn down. She stops at a locker. It calls to her. Somehow, she knows this locker. Inside, she finds a photograph, tucked away. When we see the photograph, it dawns on us, this isn't just any locker. This is her father's locker. And suddenly, the entire scene is recontextualized in an instant. Jessica's reverence isn't for the job, it isn't for the police force, and it certainly isn't for the station. It's for her father, and for the opportunity to share the same space as him, only separated in time. But when she turns, she finds that old wounds are not the only things that have been opened. This right here, that's good storytelling. Not a word spoken, and it still communicates so much. Jessica's trepidation and motivation, the legacy of this place, the death of her father, and oh, by the way, ghosts. And then you get scenes like this.
I was here, you know.
What are you referring to?
Well, they brought him in that night. 3 of them. This wannabe Manson family. I think they were called the Payments.
That's what they wanted you to believe, but they brought him in alive. Sing this eerie song.
What happened, Tony? You were doing so good in the first act. What started as a slow burn just turns into multiple people telling us how the fire started and what happens when you add gasoline. This show and tell sometimes even fight for space within the same scene. You'll have subtle moments like this disembodied voice of Monica saying that she can hear pigs, only to then have no less than 3 different characters tell you just how creepy the song is that the Payman family sings. But like, we can hear that song too, my guy. It ain't creepy. I should know. I used to be Mormon. Juliana Harkavy, for the most part, does a pretty good job. For being the only character on screen for approximately 90% of the movie, she manages to stay pretty steady with the material for the most part. She does this without overreaching too often. It ain't perfect, but it's better than this dude. Where Last Shift clocks out, however, is when it loses faith in its audience. What could and should have been a tight visual experience is ultimately bogged down by a bunch of unnecessary lore, expository oversharing, and a few too many times where the inciting incident is Jessica hears a noise, she investigates. Still, Last Shift is worth watching, if anything just as a crash course for how to not write dialogue. Some excellent scenes mixed in with groan-worthy payoff ultimately makes this thing a fine experience. Not overwhelming, not underwhelming, just whelming. I give Last Shift 6 out of 10 little girls with blood sacks on their heads. You can watch Last Shift for free with ads on Tubi or Pluto TV, or with a subscription to Magnolia Pictures on Amazon Prime. Oh, yeah. Oh, there go my guts. There go my guts. Well, wouldn't you know it? Well, it looks like we've come back to reality. Seeing that I'm back on the ground, I think it's high time that I find the master of this here castle. The mailbox outside said Dr. Acula, so maybe the good doctor knows where a phone's at. In fact, I'd bet my life on it. Anyway, see ya.